I used to be depressed a few years ago, and I had completely forgot to challenge myself. And I think this is one of the most important things we can do for our own well-being, to challenge ourselves. And that's why this video is going to be about courage, and why courage is first of all, it's my favorite emotion, but it's also a very, very powerful emotion to tap into as often as we can if we want to improve our state of being. I want you to take a look at this chart. This is something I'm using in my coaching with everyone and all the people that I work with. We're always working with this chart. And you could say that it is all emotions on the human spectrum. You see at the bottom, you have shame, you have guilt, you have apathy, you have all those emotions, grief and fear, and so on. These emotions are, like you see on the bottom left, they are in survival paradigm. And the problem with these emotions is that the natural response for us when we exist in this is that we need to move out of there. We don't want to exist in these states, right? It causes us to feel survival, fight or flight. We're always going to be in a state of escapism, stress, worry, anxiety. There's going to be a sense of longing for something better, a desire to escape, right? We're never going to be at ease. We're never going to be in peace of mind or feeling worthy or feeling like we have good confidence or like we are, like self-esteem is going to be non-existent here, right? And I used to exist in these states for a long time. I had completely forgotten what it was like to say anything good about myself. I used to be a kid who I was climbing trees and I was challenging myself and I was doing all these things that I didn't even think was like, I was challenging myself all the time, but I had no thought that that was not like that. I was supposed to do that thing, right? I was supposed to challenge myself. And I had completely forgotten to do that coming up in my 20s. And I was so depressed. I was so stuck in my own head. And I was so addicted to escapism behaviors, such as video games and drugs and alcohol and junk food and all of that stuff, that the danger with that is that when we play a lot of video games, for example, we think that we challenge ourselves, we think that we achieve things, but we're not achieving anything at all. I'm not saying that if you're playing video games, I'm not saying that you should quit that. I think you should do whatever you want. But we need to add some type of challenge to everyday life. We need to incorporate more courage if we want to feel better about ourselves. So the reason why courage is so powerful, if you take a look at the chart here again, you see that the emotion of courage is the first emotion that's outside of the survival paradigm. It's the first emotion in reason and integrity, right? It's the first emotion that won't make us suffer. I'm going to say that again. Courage is the first emotion that won't make us suffer. Courage is the first emotion that has an empowering effect on our lives. If you go below the middle line into the survival paradigm, from pride and below, all of those emotions will be some type of a taking, withholding, keeping, suppressing, contracting type of, like that's how we will feel in the body. We will feel like we are separated from people. We will feel like we are contracting. We need to hide something. I am better somehow. I need to defend myself. Like these things will be how our body and our mind responds when we are from pride and below. But when we are from courage and up, we will feel expansive. We will feel like we have something to give. We will feel empowering. We will feel like we have nothing to hide necessarily, which is a massive, massive shift in state of awareness, right? So if we are in a place where we feel like we are stressing or worrying about the future, or we are anxious or we're depressed, we're struggling, right? The absolute best thing we can do is to tap into courage as often as we can. Nowadays, we're relying on medications and we're relying on going and talking about therapy, which is, I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do those things. If those things are helping you, that's great. But we also need to be challenged. Confidence comes from past performance. And how do we tap into performance? We do something that is scary or challenge ourselves. We face a fear. And for most people, or for some people, that's going to be like, some people might struggle with this, like have severe depression. Like they might have severe social anxiety, right? For some people, just stepping outside of the door is going to be a challenge. But that's good. Then we start there. We start by doing something super simple. And then we repeatedly challenge ourselves like we are progressive overloading in the gym, right? That's how we do. If we want to build bigger muscles, we want to progressive overload. We want to increase the weight more and more and more each week, right? The same goes for courage. Courage is like a muscle. We train it. So if it's going to be like a super scary thing for you to just go outside the door or walk around the house or go down to the city and do some shopping, then start there and challenge yourself and see how you respond. And then force yourself into that state of fear as often as you can. And obviously we're not going to pole vault over our fear, but we will lean into our fear more and more and more. We'll lean into the fear as much as we can. And that way we tap into courage, which will take us out of a suppressed or depressing emotional state. Because courage is the first emotion that won't make us suffer. That's why courage is such a powerful emotion, because it teaches us that, first of all, it gives us confidence. It gives us like, I was able to do what I told myself I was going to do. It gives us understanding that the future, if I challenge myself, the future is brighter than my present moment. And this is a good fuel for us to start. It's a good place for us to start here. If we feel like we are stuck in depression and victim mindset, then taking responsibility for that and first of all asking ourselves, what can I do to suffer less? I can challenge myself and I can tap into courage and I can do things that I have been putting off for a long time. And that's going to make us feel a lot better. So when I was depressed, when I had nothing good to say about myself, I had completely forgotten how to challenge myself. I had completely forgotten to tap into courage. And so when I started doing that, when I started going to the gym that I didn't want to go to, or when I started just doing these simple things, like applying for a new job and starting working again, building up my finances, when I started doing that and challenging myself again and tapping into performance, facing my fears, tapping into courage, my life completely changed. And yes, it's going to be scary to step outside of the comfort zone, but that is the point to life. That's why we have a comfort zone. The comfort zone is not for us to stay in, but it's for us to expand it as much as we can. And to be able to do that, we want to tap into courage as much as we can. And if this sounds interesting to you, if you feel like you are struggling, you feel like you are depressed, or if you feel like you want to challenge yourself, you feel like you want to advance to the next level in your life, then click the first link in the description and apply for my coaching, and we can have a chat and maybe we can work together. But if this resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to release a lot more of these videos. There's going to be a lot more things coming to the Growth Blueprint because, like I said, I want to spread this to as many people as I can because I know that it works. All of these steps that I have applied in my own life, they do work and they will change your life as they have changed my life. I used to be depressed. I used to have panic attacks. I used to have nothing good to say about myself. And now it's the opposite. I'm helping people to break free from those shackles of the mind that we have created for ourselves. We need to break free. But if you made it to the end, thank you so much. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.